So then Abbo, after quite a attritional first half, picked up the 3 points and a great win as it turned out.
It was a real game of 2 halves. We weren't happy with the first half. We some really sloppy play. Let them obviously go into a 2-goal lead and really poor goals to concede. And all our problems were of our own making. And despite probably territorially dominating and having some really good pockets of play, looking probably the more mature and stronger side, we allowed them to sucker punch us a couple of times and obviously went in at half time in a really bad position. So to come out in the second half and get the bit between our teeth and dominate the second half and drag ourselves back into the game, we're really pleased with the results.
As you say, a much changed Hinckley performance in the second half. A lot more urgency, a lot more intent in the play. Still creating a lot of chances in the first half, but just a little bit more deliberate in that second. Yeah,
first half soft-centred. Too easy to counter, too easy to break on, too easy to carve through. Football's not just about going in one direction, and that's what we kind of said at half time. And the second half we had a little bit more steel. We were good in both directions. We were good on turning the ball around and launching our own counter-attacks. I thought we were, some of our play in the first half was great, but you can't just play in one direction. You're just a team of flat-track bullies if that's all you're about. So second half, as you say, more snappy, more urgency, slight tweak in the shape, and far better. And as I say, I hope that becomes a feature of our team this year, because our team last year pulled results out of the fire time and time again, and the team's changed a lot this season, and it's not a feature of this team yet. We've spluttered a little bit at coming back in games, and we've been behind and not quite done it in the last month or two, and today we have, and I hope that becomes something that is a feature of the team.
A word on Sean Williams. He's very much Mr. Perpetual Motion in the team, even during the slightly slacker first half. He was very much the standout performer, and in the second half again his energy has really driven the team on.
Yeah, fantastic player. We just said, we were just done our team talk there and spoke to the boys about the game and the result, and we've just said, I've just wrapped up by saying, for me, Sean Williams, Marcus Jackson, JJ Milligan, all the wrong side of 30, and they were the driving force behind the second half, and an example for our younger players to follow. That's why they're here. That's why we brought Marcus in. I said he'll give us steel and desire and a never say die attitude. We know we get that from John Joe, and Sean obviously just never stops. He just doesn't quit. Doesn't give on. If it's not happening for him, he comes again and again and again. Never hides once a ball. Just great examples for younger players, and those three have been outstanding in the second half.
At 2-0 down, you get the penalty. Leicester Road go down to 10 men. Marco steps up to that penalty spot. Ordinarily, you'd expect that to be netted in the net. It goes over the bar. What are your thoughts at that point?
There's enough time in the game to create enough to get back in the game and certainly draw the game. I think there was a good 20 minutes left. Felt like a sea change. We were on top before the sending off. Let's have it right. But obviously that gives you more of an opportunity. And obviously was disappointed to see the penalty go over. But certainly enough time in the game for us to show our grit and our determination, if that's a feature of us, and an acid test for us. And fortunately we do have it in us. We do have it in us to pull a result back, and hopefully that will be a turning point in our season.
Didn't really want to touch on this, but obviously the narrative going into the game was the obvious Hinckley-based links for both sides. But how fitting was it for Luke Richards, the skipper, to score that winning goal after what was a pretty much indifferent first half from the captain?
Yeah, massive really. And first I'll touch on the game, because we tried to play it down with the guys in the dressing room. I do think it was tougher on our lads than their boys, because they've got a very young group that's been allowed to grow together. And they're a fantastic set of players, and I've just been in and spoke to their players and said, that all I can assure you is I would have come in if we'd have lost the game, and just that, despite all the things that are said between the clubs, they're a real credit to the manager, and I think that's a really fantastic group of players they have there. And they kind of had nothing to lose coming into the game, really. Our boys are a collection of good non-league players that come together, rather than a team that's grown together. And we had kind of everything to lose, nothing to gain. It was a tough game for us. Before the game I said to the boys, I tried to play it down, it's another game for us, but I woke up this morning and You know, I'm not a fan. I don't have the history. The weight of expectation of this game was massive, and I didn't relish coming here today. It was a worry. So you know, it was a tough day for us at the office, and a great result. Luke Richards getting the goals. I mean, for me, you know, there's a reason we made him captain this year. That he's the heart and soul of the football club. You know, when I got the job and the club obviously reformed at the start of last season, I found a lot of ex-Hinckley United players, and you know, people talk to me about the great players of the past who were at Barwell now, like, you know, Rich Lavery and Declan Towers and people like that. I spoke to, you know, a lot of players. No one wanted to come to Hinckley from Hinckley United and rescue the club, but Luke Richards did, and he'd play here for nothing. He'd play here for nothing. He was the first one to say I'm in, and he's Hinckley through and through, and he's a great kid, and absolutely fitting that he should wrap that game up for us today.
Again, creating an awful lot of chances. So you know, the probably arguably first half, second half, game of 2 halves, as they say, but the substitutions this time round, unlike the Heat game, only had a massive bearing on the eventual result.
Yeah, well, you know, unwittingly subbed us out of the Heat Days game. You know, I still don't think they were reckless substitutions, but there's no doubt that they cost us the game. So, you know, I obviously hold myself responsible for that. I think today we've made proactive substitutions, you know, changes that drive the game forward. It's not always what's required, but you know, players all over the pitch. You know, Luke, Tomo from the left side of the back three, driving us on the left flank and getting us in overload. JJ and Darius both capable of driving with the ball to the edge of the box and making things happen. Getting Marcus into a more forward position, getting Willow into a position in the box where he get the ball down at his feet and face the goal. You know, proactive changes, and it worked for us. But what else can you do when you're losing a game? You have to roll the dice, don't you? So all credit to the players, and good result.
Well done today, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, cheers.